Call to order the October 5th, 2016 meeting of the Tilton Budget Committee.
Yeah.
And our first order of business are the meeting minutes. Everybody have a chance to look at them? If not, I think we have a copy. If you could look at them now, please. I'm glad you spelled striper right.
Under where it's talking about tonnage, Ms. Harvey questioned if anyone else had noticed they were rejecting more recycling lately. Who's they? Is that the town? Is that Casella?
Casella.
Should it be updated to reflect Casella?
Probably a good idea.
We would reject it, would be so.
Right.
Show-offs.
At least it's not dim on one. Any other corrections or annotations?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
And abstention. Okay. And next to the appropriation requests. Let's see if we all, how much are those Genesis invitations, 40 bucks? Have any of these changed, Johanna?
Not by a lot. There was one that was up slightly, I believe.
Franklin B&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the library.
$200.
Other than that, they're the same, I believe.
Okay.
And, or visiting nurses is also up slightly. The home memorial library number is up, but a lot of times what they do is when their final numbers come in, they adjust it
Yeah.
for what they need. We don't have Lakes Region Planning Commission yet, or Child and Family Services yet.
Did everybody get the Alan and Sabina Hartwell letter from, okay.
They send the application, I mean the form too?
It should be in your,
It's in here, John.
everything that they sent is in there.
I think they just sent the financial report.
They do, that's what
Island
they do.
Concert Series was just the budget.
Because I know we, last year they had to fill it out, and we said that the year before too, and they always say that they never have to, but we make them do it.
Well, I do know that when I got the email from her, originally I was not able to open the file. And I contacted her asking her to send in a different file format. And they never responded. So I went online and found out how to convert it and converted it and sent it out. But communication with them in the past has been very dry.
If you look at the way, a couple of years ago, you were going to revamp that reconstructed so that it fits most agencies. When you look at the question on some of what answers that you're looking for that pertain to the Island Concert Series, it's not applicable, so she was NA. That's why she wrote out the financial statement the way she did.
Well, I've tried to work with her in the past to get her to submit in the form.
You know, it was last year they submitted a form.
Yeah,
And-
but it took
and
a
then-
while for us to
yeah.
get it, if you'll recall.
Just, you know, continuity and to have everybody on the same page. I think it's,
Do you want me to request that she submit form?
Chair?
I'm thinking of what on there, yeah, and if it's not applicable, all she has to do is put not applicable. That way it's uniform.
It may be very difficult to get it right now because they're going through the hurricane.
It's, tomorrow I think it's still hard.
Is she West Coast or East Coast? West Coast?
They evacuated it
Okay.
today. It's bad.
Give her to the end of business tomorrow.
She may be up here by then. She might be up here by then. Okay. Matthew, do you have any questions about the forms? You're
Well, I have
the
a
only one that's new to the
Question
budget
about
committee.
how this is all put together, because the VNA doesn't have an application form. CASA doesn't have an application form, or they do, but it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
This one, the app's on the top. I thought they'd all be uniform, so it's kind of hard to see what I'm trying to...
Well, they're the way that they send them in, and I don't know why we haven't gotten one from B&A yet.
We've gotten information from them, but I emailed they sent it to the
Okay. And the Savina Hartwell,
That's the one we were just talking about.
That's why you do
Well,
I thought it would be all done.
a binder. Right. Binder.
yeah, I was gonna say, we just got them tonight, so I think what we need to do is take them home, put them in some semblance of order in our books, the way we wanna file them, because I think we all file them differently probably.
Oh, okay.
And then anything missing, we can come back with our email Johanna, and she can,
But how do I know what's missing if I don't know what should
well,
be
you'll
there?
know whether the standardized form is missing or not.
Okay.
Some send a lot more information than others, depending on the
Right.
size and the,
I also have financial reports from VNA, New Hampshire Association for the Blind. I wanted to know how you guys want those this year,
Request.
because they are extensive. I can make copies for everybody if you want. I can have Tim scan them and email them to you. You know, or
Can you guys
look at them
listen
on
just a minute?
here, or
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Can we look at them while we're here? I would hate to
I
make,
would say let us look at them while they're here.
but
If we need any of the information, we can notify you. Like, I'd like to see, I don't need all the brochures anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
much.
there's just a lot of stuff to fill a book that we don't ever look at. I think the financial, that's a pretty important issue, the financials, and I'd like to have those. I think most everybody would like to see the financials.
Yep. Right, yeah, we don't need the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing.
give Gail a copy of the financial.
It's too much. I'll look at it while it's here. I'm not gonna take it in my car.
I had asked Gail to give a copy to Tim to scan, and I don't know that it got done. I think it was just cycled back into my box.
We put them in these, but, yeah. I'd like it.
I think everybody will need a copy of the financials, and I would say, for now, unless somebody has a special request, or, that's probably all we need
So one copy of the financials
for each of us.
for each of you.
But just the financials.
So is that what you're saying is the financials is pretty thick?
I'm talking auditor's report.
Oh,
Oh, no, we don't need that.
no.
No.
No, like
Dude, is there
No,
like a
just-
summary page?
Summary, just the summary page.
Do you have a summary page?
What I've done is I give you single sheets in your request that they send. Big old packets of like the auditor's report.
We don't need the auditor's report.
I have like one copy of these that I've got that if people want to review, you can review it, or I can get them to scan it, I can make copies, but you're talking hundreds of pages.
No, I think all we need is the financial statement, okay? Their profit, their loss, that statement.
Yep.
And then if you could bring the other things and make them available, anything we need or want, we can request or read it in your office you know.
Sure.
That seems to be more practical. Does anybody agree or
Yeah, and
disagree?
that's the
or-
reason for
Agree?
that.
Yeah,
Sum it up.
yeah. Because that's what we're gonna be concerned, and anything else, we can ask them when they get here. And most of them give us an outline of their services that they offer. And we, you know, they say things on this form about how many people in Tilton they serve. That's the kind of thing we need to know. I'm sure that some of us may have had some experience with some of them. As a matter of fact, Pat and I spent the day today with someone who is a client of Genesis. And, you know, we took him somewhere that most caseworkers would have taken him. So, anyway, anything else on the information that we need from Johanna? Matthew, you might want to come in and look at some of the things that we get. When we say we don't want it, there are times that we, like
Oh, right,
the
everybody's
Association
financials,
from
it's
the
a huge
Blind sends us a pile like that of all the brochures and services that they do.
Right, did they send a form this year? Because it's not here.
They usually do, so I would think we may, or they may not, I don't know. If you don't have it, then we can ask for that. So make a list of the things that we need, and is it okay if we just email you individually what we need?
Yep.
Okay.
Jane, I think I forwarded an email over to you that the Old Home Day Committee is
Yes, I'm
working on
down,
it.
that's coming up,
Okay.
okay? They're scheduled for the 19th, and may as well bring that up now. If there's not anything else on the appropriations request, anything else on that?
The only thing I had is when do we start scheduling them and what do we?
Well, we got a schedule last week, last meeting of what we had.
Was it also sent out an email? If not, can it be?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there, never mind.
You got it?
It's not,
Right here.
it's not
Okay.
in order.
All right.
Okay.
The 19th, there is a meeting of, and you may have read the letter in the paper from Tim Sattler, the search committee for a location for the new fire department is being held on the 19th, and it's, prepare yourself for this shock. We're talking probably in the neighborhood of $4 to $5 million. And they don't even have the land yet.
For the search committee?
No, not for the committee, for the building. They're
The police
coming up,
department cost $500,000.
they're coming
No, I know.
up, they're coming up, well, they're coming up with 3 different proposals from what the letter said in the paper. It's a heavy, heavy burden for taxpayers to look at that. It was something that they were formed as a result of the fire district meeting. All of you, I think, are aware of how outdated the Park Street building is. It's not ADA, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I'm sorry. The Park Street station is the newer one. But we definitely need a new facility. What form that facility will take, we don't really know yet. There's been talk of life safety. I think the committee, I'm not sure what they'll come up with. But that meeting is the 19th, and I strongly suggest that we reschedule our meeting for the 19th, and that all of us attend that meeting, because I think that's how important it is. I think it's something we all need to know, what's coming down the pike in terms of that.
That's here?
No, that is at the cafetorium
The high school.
at the high school
On the 19th, at what time?
on the 19th. I believe it starts at 7,
So we'd have to
but I'll have to
reschedule.
check that, okay? Which means that we would have to reschedule 3 participants, one of which had already requested to be rescheduled anyway, which is Old Home Day. So could you contact, I think we'll have enough time to put them in with others. Do you think that's unrealistic, Johanna?
I would say that I would go the next day rather than add them in with others, because
Okay.
we've got about 3 each meeting.
Okay,
So I would just add it on the next meeting date after the 16th,
okay,
is what I would suggest.
all right. Could you contact them?
I will. Old Home Day never contacted me, and they're not very good with communication with me. So I've been contacting Deb Shepherd. Is that who I should be contacting?
As far as I know, because I'm not on the committee anymore, do you know John?
Peg's the chief,
It's Peg, I think.
Deb Shepherd?
but either one would be fine.
But either one, as Pat said, would be fine, because they're both involved in it.
And Joe's in Washington.
Yeah, and Joe's on the committee, Joe Jessamine.
In rescheduling this, we're towards the end of November. What do you guys want to do about the week before Thanksgiving? Do you want to meet that week or not?
How do people feel about that?
Doesn't bother me. The week before
The day before
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
The week
or
The week before.
Oh, I would say
I would say
yes,
yes too.
and if we can avoid it by getting everything done, then that'd be great. But
Right, so the day before Thanksgiving, you want to meet?
No.
No,
Day
not the day before, the week before, I thought you said.
So what day's Thanksgiving? Somebody
I
know?
think the 24th.
It's always a Thursday, right?
All right, so no meeting on the 23rd, but then meeting again on the 30th?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless someone's bringing turkey.
Will you cook it if I bring it?
Eric will be here.
Microwave.
Hey, maybe it will snow.
Okay. All right, the only other business, and I wanted to bring this up, I hope that people go back and read RSA 32, which is about town budget committees and so on and so forth. We do have one new person. I don't know how many of you have read it, but it gives you an idea of what our responsibility is, what our charge has been from the state and via the town meeting. Because last budget committee meeting, we spent a lot of time, we went over the budget about things that I really think it's not really appropriate for us as a committee to go over. Like, we got involved in cleaning of uniforms, we got involved in whether the police leave their cars on or off. We pay big bucks to, whether or not, how many people were striping. We spend a lot of money paying for a chief of police, for a highway director, and I think they have the responsibility of managing those departments. We are a bottom line budget, and I think what we're charged with is making sure that on each individual line for those departments, that they are managing those lines. And if they go way, way over, then that becomes our concern, and that's what we need to be cognizant of when those things happen. Not every little tiny thing. To me, that's micromanaging, and I don't think that's the charge for the budget department, to micromanage. I did talk with Chief Cormier, however, about 2 of the issues that came up. One was the uniforms. He was the one who went in the dunk tank, and he pays for his own uniform to be cleaned. He said, as a matter of fact, most of his uniforms don't even have to be dry cleaned. He just washes them because they're polyester and can wash them and hang them up and they're dry and they're fine. And that the night he went in the dunk tank, it didn't even have to be cleaned. It was dry before the evening was over. The other thing he brought up was the fact that one of the reasons the Tilton Police Department is involved in so many different activities is because both the state and the federal government have strongly suggested and started programs. For instance, the program where the cops have coffee with different members of the community, because it's become so bad in so many areas, and that the people are protesting, and there are all kinds of shootings and rioting and so on and so forth. So in order to prevent that kind of thing from happening, it becomes very important for the local police to have a presence in the community. So, I think our police department does a very good job of that. I know that if you had gone by McDonald's tonight, you would have thought there was a police convention. And if you looked at all the police cars, you would have thought, oh, the Tilton Police is having a party. Not the case at all. There were police cars from Franklin, there were police cars from Belmont, there were police cars from Laconia, all around, because McDonald's was giving an award to particular officers, or 2 officers in each town, and 2 of them were in our town. I think we should commend those officers, and, you know, it was Billy Patton and Richard Ort. Billy is the person who's the SAU at the high school, and SRO at the high school, and Richard Ort is the young man who works with our Explorer team. And I also verified the fact that the cars that have their lights on are equipped to run their lights without running the engine, so they're not using gas. If a car is left running, it's because an officer on duty has gone to check with the chief or to inform the chief of something, and the reason they leave the cars running is because they can take off in a moment if they receive a call. And that's standard practice. That isn't something that's only done with the Tilton Police. So in the future, let's try to focus on the overall budget, the line items, as to whether they go over the line item or they don't go over the line item. Pat?
I would like to say something to that effect as well. In the years past, and John can follow up with this if you would, as a selectman for 7.5 years, when I first came on as a budget committee, we had a very bare bones budget. It was not as detailed as what everybody gets. And I made it my passion, and Tim Pearson has done a fantastic job of making it more detailed for everyone to make it, hate this word, but transparent to what's going on in the town. I do not want anyone to stop asking questions about what's in the budget and how and why we spend what's in the budget, because it's been our mission as selectmen to be able to come to the budget committee and answer those questions so that you have all your answers so that you can do the job that you need to do. And that...
Well, if I might add, as chairman of the budget committee, that I was not saying that you shouldn't ask questions.
I'm not saying
and
you
I was
were.
not saying that you shouldn't look at individual lines. But I think in terms of picking it apart to the point of why were there 3 people doing lines, that if there's a problem with the administration and with the supervision, which impacts the line, that more appropriately should go to the selectmen as opposed to coming to the budget committee. All right, and that's what I'm saying.
But that's why we're here, John.
Okay. Barry?
I kind of respectfully disagree. I think that in that particular department, and I'm the one that brought up the issue about the people lining, that department does not have a department head currently that's working on that position full-time. So I think it's actually prudent that I report those things. And we have representative of the selectmen on this committee, and if he can take it back to the selectmen, then so be it. But I think we are supposed to watch the dollars. And if you do see something going on, it should be brought up. Otherwise, we're just
I'm
rubber
saying
stamping.
not to the point that we spend an inordinate amount of time on an issue that, and you're right, there's nobody in the department, well, there is now, isn't there? Is somebody just hired?
Shortly.
I was gonna have John.
Very
I was
short,
gonna
2
have
weeks.
John, discuss that later on. But I don't want us to spend half an hour talking about dry cleaning. If we look at if we see that the wages for the highway department are exorbitant and a large percentage, then I think we need to question it. That's all. But I don't think we need to micromanage by asking every little detail of what's going on.
I think I don't think oversight of spending is micromanaging, and asking questions like this is exactly what we're here to do, because we're the representative of the people over the select committee. And for the select committee to be concerned that we're asking this question is insulting. And I don't know how much practice you had on that, but I think as long as we keep it towards spending and not micromanaging our people, I think it's not only appropriate, it's what we're here to do.
Okay, read RSA 32, okay?
Okay.
And the select committee is meaning us, we're not concerned. You want to ask questions, we'll answer.
Okay. And we have a member of the select board here.
Yeah.
So I think we should utilize more often.
The Budget Committee should be coming up with recommendations based on studying how spending is done and where things could be done more efficiently, or maybe it's not being spent as well. So I'll welcome any questions that anybody has on it, and along with any residents, if they see something or suggestions.
Right, and we are here to actually make the budget of the town, not to
Start.
stamp the select
I'd
board's
like to see
budget.
zero.
To actually make
Start
it.
at 0%.
And to ask the questions to learn about how things are spent and how things are done. It's exactly the purview of this committee.
I just got,
Remember-
I got the impression last week, or last month, that we were picking apart things like one incident of somebody going in a dunk tank, I was gonna say a drunk tank, a dunk tank, and that we
And hey, was it a
need to
little
do
too
that.
detailed of asking about the spending? And that's how it was brought up. Were there too many cops in that area? Was there...
Well, the comment was made, I think, that there were too many
deployment of staffing
cops.
incorrect was not the question. It was the spending of resources was the question, and that's the concern. And if someone in this committee has questions on those things, they should have the right and not be intimidated to ask them.
All right,
You know, if somebody said, I don't think the chief is deploying staffing properly and not enough people were in this part of town, then that's something as a citizen we should bring to the select board.
well, I
We're
guess
talking
if
about spending.
somebody had posed it as, why do we have so many officers at such and such a place? But the comment, I believe, was that all these people were at, wherever they were at the...
Sure,
Okay?
and I asked
And-
questions
and
about,
that's-
you know,
that's why the way we ask it was a way to ask it, to focus on how much money is being spent, as opposed to pointing the finger at particular individuals, and that's what I don't want to see,
okay.
okay?
But I don't think anybody on this committee should be intimidated by asking questions.
No, and that's not what I meant to say.
Thank you.
You're not intimidated, are you?
No. But I know I'm not, and I'm willing to speak up, and I ask too many questions, I get that. I'm one of those people.
I haven't
probably
heard you
run
ask,
our
it was...
Meetings too much, but there's a
It was
certain point
pointing,
where...
it was pointing the fingers at particular, incidences
Right.
that I found objectionable. That was all. And I thought it should come up in the meeting as opposed to pulling somebody aside and saying something.
Okay.
because I think we need to all be on the same wavelength. John, do you want to talk about the highway department and?
Yes, it's been a very long and exhausting search, and we had 15 or 17 applicants. There was quite a few applicants for the two positions, a laborer as well as the director of the Department of Public Works. And involved in that includes, the whole criminal background check, reference check, and all that. And we finally narrowed it down, and we made an offer to a new DPW director who, I shouldn't give too much information today, because today is the day he was supposedly giving his notice. So, just in case that didn't happen, but we do have one. I'm almost 100% confident he's going to be starting in 2 weeks on October 29th, 24th. And seemed like a good pick, very knowledgeable, and
It's
down there.
65,000.
Yeah, 65,000.
And we have a mechanic that started
Yep.
on
Yeah, Mechanic's already getting his elbows dirty and getting things ready for winter, starting out with the trackless plow. He's been pulling that apart, getting that ready and settling in, and seems like a good fit. So it's been a while, it's been tough, and I think we've got a good crew that we're putting together. And, I've got to commend the guys that have been, we've got Fred and John and Jack, who's new, have been doing an excellent job with little to no supervision, but they've been overseen and they've been getting stuff done, and they're real happy, so.
Who's been running the highway department thus far? Is it Peter?
Presently, presently Peter is the one who's been spending the most time down there. The selectmen have been. Peter has been kind of the front man because he's more involved with knowledge on paving and, with his background with the sewer and those type of things, so.
Yeah,
And he's
summer
off.
Right, but now he's back to school.
Yeah, so we're doing tag team down there.
One of them.
We'll just hire you guys.
I think Peter's done a really good job in doing that. One of my nitpicking points was I questioned the selectmen about why we were hiring, when we had a crew at the highway department, why were we hiring professionals to paint stripes for the crosswalks? And I got the answer, it's because it's something that requires professional. So, I mean, that's why I said, when I point out, I nitpick too, but sometimes it, doesn't, I do it with the selectmen usually, and that's the only thing I would suggest.
Just real quick on that, the reason being is everything's shifted in the whole town. There's no old marks where you can look for the ghost of the lines and mark them. We want to make sure that everything gets laid out perfectly, so we get the maximum spots that we can, and have the professional guys that do this, that's all they do. Come in, get that initial one done, and then every year we can come back and you can see, we'll paint over. And I believe it was $860 or $980.
$890. And with the ADA compliant, once they touch your road, DOT has to comply with the ADA compliant, which means the cut-ins on your sidewalk. When they do the cut-ins on the sidewalk, we were going to lose up to 13 parking spaces downtown. We met with the commissioner several times and DOT in several meetings. We're down to 2 or 3. So our downtown is changing, and that also requires a whole different layout, because parallel parking, as you see out front of Tilton here, the crosswalk is moved over, therefore the parallel parking is moved over, but we gain a vertical. The one across from here, cuts from men, is moved over, so the parallel no longer exists, but we gain vertical. an angle, I should say, not vertical, an angle. So there are a couple of things that are changing downtown, and that's why we need a professional to map it out and do it. And it needs to be done.
I thought that was a pretty good price,
Yeah.
that, to do the whole thing nice and measure it all out and have them in and out of here. That'll be, next year we do it ourselves, and they'll do our parking lots. Our guys will do that.
Anything else? Stan? Christine? Jude?
No.
Nancy? John?
The only thing is, when we had discussed not having the Budget Committee meet at the police station in the Public Works Department during the spring or summer, and we're putting it off to when they would present their budget, I don't know if we want to start looking at dates or that. And the only suggestion I had was that perhaps after the police submit their budget, in that time after the agencies all come in, that maybe we could have a meeting there, and the police department can, chief can show us some of the things on his budget, what he's done, and explain the budget a little more in detail. And we'll also get the opportunity, we could go down and
Meet the
new director. Yeah, and they're gonna cook us all supper and grab a beer.
Well, they got that new kitchen, they spent all that money on the police
Oh,
department.
did
I
they?
told the new director that that's what they do for the budget committee. It's part of, that they have to,
Filet mignon.
this is the way we've been doing all along, right?
Right, gotcha.
Microwave.
No, anybody in the public that's not, but initiate our new public works director, meet him.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
Eric?
Of course, I can't, shut up.
I-
So, two things. I saw in the last selectmen's meeting, there was $5,000 budgeted or spent for voting booths. Where's that coming from?
That comes from the town clerk tax collector's budget. Highway wages, unspent highway wages.
So will we see something on some type of transfer on the budget, transferring those
Yeah.
wages
Yeah.
at the end of the year? Okay. And then, I haven't seen it yet, but are we meeting with the Director of Welfare Director? As we have a few other times.
How do people feel about that?
I thought that
What was
was
it?
very important.
The
Yeah,
welfare budget,
director,
beyond director.
She comes in and gives us her take on each agency.
Oh,
and how it
yeah, we
helps
did
her.
that last year.
yeah, we
Yeah.
should.
We've always
We
done
should,
that.
yeah, we should do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think she'll be available? I know
She
they're,
was in today.
okay.
Yes,
We did that at this meeting last year.
No, I know,
she's back, yes. I think it would be important.
okay. Can you see if she can come to,
When would you like?
maybe the next meeting,
Are there any,
before we
Agency
see the
schedule?
agencies? Can we,
The next meeting, you're supposed to meet with the Red Cross New Beginnings and the Association of the Blind.
and we usually meet with Heather for what, half an hour? Is that what we do? What?
But
Generally,
It's not-
you set
The
it up
meeting
with
started
Heather
at
to
6:30.
be
Would have been tonight to set
one
it up.
meeting because
Right.
she's going over all the,
Sometimes it takes longer than half an hour, so it's,
Can we start the meeting a little earlier?
we can start it
6:30,
earlier,
Yeah,
and I think she also goes off public,
Yes.
just to, for her.
yeah, she does, we go in,
Oh, we go into
exactly,
non-public,
exactly.
yeah.
So if
That's
we
good.
could start, if it's okay with her.
Is it okay with you to start?
me, I don't know everybody else, but start
What about
earlier
everybody
that day.
Yeah,
Like a half hour, 45 minutes early that day.
yeah,
I'm good
'cause
with
it's
that.
it's already pretty late
Coming
at
Wednesday.
7,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I will ask her to come in. What time you guys want to meet?
6:30.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, I would say, yeah.
Sure.
All right,
And if
I
there's
will
time
give
between
you
her and the
email
first
with the
person, then
response.
that's fine. And if you could just shoot us an email to
Are we
confirm,
doing
that'd be
every Wednesday?
appreciated.
Do you, is her situation?
When I first started, she was very
less.
helpful
Yeah.
because she gave you insight
Yeah.
that nobody else could, because she's the person dealing
Dealing
with
with it.
this agency, that
Right.
agency, how it physically helps town.
I agree.
A real-world example, not Jones or Smith, or just in general, I had a person who really was helped, or a good percentage really does, or I just don't know sometimes. They helped me a lot in the beginning.
Yep.
I believe since the last meeting, I think we released another check to the rec.
Yeah,
So since that will be their third quarter payment.
yep.
They have made a lot of changes and tweaked their stuff. They still have a ways to go. There's some discrepancies between their different policies. They're working on it. They have not hired a director as of yet, and that's where that's at, so. And I think Catherine is going to work with them a little bit, or anybody else that wants to help them out.
And there was an article in the Concord Monitor today. Incorrect article.
It incorrectly stated that they were working, the gist of the story was about Mr. Magoon being out on bail, but the Pines Community Center was working towards a safety and working towards making it more safe for the children. And in an example they gave that said that one example was the license, getting the license, which they did not need, which is a very, very, very incorrect statement.
Yeah.
When Mr. Magoon was arrested, we found out that the Pines Community Center was somehow, it was misconstrued by the state that they were run by a municipalities, and therefore did not need that kind of licensure. So I myself was the one that called the state and asked questions, and then they called back and did their research with Tilton and Northfield. 24 hours later, they came back and said that they do need and require a license for that type of environment in which they work under, recreation, that they do require it. However, they will keep the establishment open and work with them, and they are very diligently working with them. On a day-to-day basis, working with them, and I will give them that credit. They are working, but it was incorrectly stated, and I probably said a few unnecessary words to Alyssa Dandria, who was the Concord Monitor reporter tonight on voicemail, but I'm sure she'll get back to me.
It was also on Channel 9 tonight.
Her voicemail?
No. About Magoon.
Interesting.
It is, it's incorrectly reported, and when this all took place, we got many phone calls from residents that called, probably in the 40s or 50s, phone calls over the weekend asking why the town of Tilton Board of Selectmen would allow such an agency not to have licensure. Well, we had no idea. Well, if the state didn't have any idea, why would we have any idea? They assumed because we pay money to them that we ran it, and we don't run it. And it's not run by Northfield either. They own the building, but they don't, I guess they lease the land. But we pay, just as we do Franklin V&A, Association for the Blind, Genesis, CASA, all of those. We pay for services. We don't run them by any means. They're not run by a municipality. Therefore, we could stop that at any time, and the business, if we stop payment to Franklin V&A, they would still continue to be Franklin V&A.
Unfortunately, the
If we
Pines wouldn't.
controlled and ran Pines Community Center, if we stopped, they would no longer be there, and that's not the case. They could still continue without us. So it was very incorrectly, so I'm sure we'll be getting some phone calls on that. Eric was the one that emailed me today, to let me know that I was in the paper, and I'm sure Alyssa tomorrow, when she picks her email up, her voicemail and email will be awakened.
Interesting.
It's all your fault.
Anything else?
Poked the bit.
You had more?
No,
Oh, okay. I had something. Oh, I know what. Are we getting a crosswalk in front of T-Hop?
Yes.
Okay, that's
The
just,
Board of Selectmen disagrees with the state of New Hampshire. They want it removed. We've had many disagreements over that.
if there's an accident there, who's financially liable?
It is up to us, depends on the accident. It is up to the Board of Selectmen to put a crosswalk there if they choose to put a crosswalk. So,
Is there a
yeah,
legal risk to the town, which would impact the budget?
Budget, that's why I'm asking.
yeah.
Is there?
It's being researched.
Okay,
Can't answer
Okay.
that question just yet.
we'll see it in the budget legal line, right? All right, anything else?
All right, I got one more.
Yeah.
So when the bid was awarded to the company to pave the sidewalk in front of Town Hall, part of the reason that you went with the company that you did was because they're also the same company paving Main Street. Main Street's been paved. And part of the reason was the equipment was gonna already be here and that type of stuff.
No.
Yeah, the company, it's a different company, but the idea is that we're having them do a couple things. We're going to have them do here, out in front, along with a section down further to, so we use the money that we allocated for sidewalks for this year. The problem is, and the reason why it's not done is if you go, when you go out the front door, you'll see that handicap ramp that was supposed to be located in a different spot according to the state. They shifted it, and on top of that, if you look at the grade of it, it's not the right grade to match up with our sidewalk. So we're trying to get that straightened out with the state, and it's got to get done. You know, where that's huge.
There's also
We're-
a hollow space just as to the right of that ramp on the actual main street. There's a hole about this big, but it's underground hollow for about this long, which the state is now looking into. Pike Industries is the one that did Main Street. We're not hiring. R&D Pavement is doing Birch Ridge and Westwood. They got the bid for the sidewalk only because the other people in the bid, they were not, there was something with the asphalt
They're not certified.
to carry it was something to do with the asphalt. I can't remember what it was.
They weren't state
They didn't have
certified
a
spec.
certification.
They weren't state certified.
The state certified. And that's why we went to the next bidder, which happened to be R&D Ford. But it's on hold because of the state right now. But Porter is coming to do by the mill, that sidewalk, because that was on hold because there was a state drainage that had collapsed, and that's fixed now.
Hadn't they already done that and then it collapsed?
No, they were
dug it up.
They were in the process?
in the process
Okay.
of digging it
And
up
that's when they found
noticed
it.
They
Right,
Okay.
found that,
Right.
had a sinkhole and everything around there,
right,
Yeah,
so they had to fix that.
yeah.
okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So are we weekly now?
Well, we do go.
Every